The GOP's reaction to the SCOTUS leak of the draft opinion that would overturn Roe v. Wade has been fascinating. For one, they've decided to focus squarely on the fact that the leak happened, and they're threatening all sorts of legal action against the individual who decided to leak this. And of course, for now, we don't know who it is. And we don't even know the political leanings of the likely clerk who leaked this draft opinion. But I do want to talk about what Republicans are saying, starting with a few tweets here. Megyn Kelly, for instance, says, the pathetic, spineless leak of a draft SCOTUS opinion has the feel of something a sad little woke, and woke is their favorite word. That's all they've got. The right wing, it's like they pleasure themselves to the word woke day in, day out. You guys are losers. Find a new word, it's pathetic. But let me go back to it. Let's read more from this person. Woke 20-something-year-old would do. The kind of person who thinks their personal agenda is more important, whoever did it should lose their law license. So not concerned at all about the women who are likely gonna die because they're so desperate that they'll take a wire coat hanger and jam it up their uterus to give themselves an abortion. No concern about that. Megyn Kelly's worried about the leaker, who, by the way, might also be a conservative, which we'll get to in just a second. Ben Shapiro as well, Ben Shapiro. Who would Ben Shapiro be if it weren't for the culture wars? Would Ben Shapiro talk about how much he hates unions? Something that his own audience actually went against him on? He doesn't want to talk about that, so he wants to talk about the culture war. So let's hear what he has to say about the consequences for this leaker. There's little question that this leak is designed to create threat to the life and limb of any justice who signs onto the majority opinion. Really, is there really little question? We don't even know who this person is. Prosecution to the full extent of the law, he says. Well, even if we find out who the leaker is, turns out that he or she, whoever this person is, didn't actually do anything illegal. And I'll get to that in a second, but before I do, real quick, Cenk. Who's aiding and abetting this narrative? As if this is the most important part of this story, this is the most important angle? The New York Times. Let's take a look at a screenshot of their front page today. Chief Justice calls leak an egregious breach of trust. Who cares? Supreme Court confirms leak, says Roe draft is not final. It's all about the leak. It's all about the leak. It's like, hey, how many women are gonna die as a result of this? How many Republicans are pretending to care about the life of a zygote when you have children literally dying on our streets in America today because of their austerity measures? How about that, New York Times? Maybe focus on not following whatever framing the right wing wants to spout, but they can't help themselves. The right wing rules this country.
So I saw a tweet from a former journalist today saying when she worked in a mainstream media organization, they were deathly afraid of covering abortion because they were all on pins and needles about not offending Republicans. How about you just do your job and you report the truth and you report facts and let them lie wherever they are? The mainstream media has been nervous about offending Republicans ever since Republicans said black people are inferior to us.
Yeah, mainstream media is full of little bitches.
Yeah.
Terrified of the right wing, terrified. Yeah. Keep cowering.
Yeah.
Great, hard-hitting journalism you got there.
And I'm referring to the civil rights era, and it is literal. Back then, the right wing was very frank and honest, and now they're almost back to that era where they said, yeah, black people are not as good as white people, they're inferior. And if you report in the New York Times that they're equal to us, well, then you're being biased against the right wing. Biased because we feel that these human beings are inferior to us. You're being deeply offensive to us. And this whole country for this whole year, we talked about it on yesterday's show, even before the Roe decision came out. Everything's structured around not offending Christian right-wing men because they're in power, so everybody's kissing their ass. That historically, right? And we still have PTSD from that. So the media, Democrats, all they ever do is, but don't offend Republicans. Dude, they just took away the rights of all women to control their own bodies. They said, we're gonna send in our jackbooted thugs from the big government to snatch your bodies up and say you are not allowed to make a decision about what grows inside of you. And we're not allowed to offend them? You'll excuse me if I tell you to F off with your stupid rules, which I will not comply with. Okay, so that's the mainstream media and how they pervert the news yes, on behalf of conservatives. Oh, but I heard from conservatives and the rest of the media was liberal. Oh, did you hear that? You got brainwashed, you fools. Everything they write is economically conservative. Everything they write. If you have an economically progressive idea, they're like radical extremists say there should be income equality. How do you go? You can't afford that. Let's spend more money on wars. So screw the entire mainstream media. Okay, now on to Anna's point about death. Guys, it's not hypothetical. So abortion has been legal until probably June when this decision becomes finalized here in America. But across the world, there are many places where it is illegal. And do women actually die from illegal abortions? In 1 year alone, major study on it, okay, in a very respected medical journal, 31,000 women died. This in a recent year, 31,000 women died from self-administered abortions because they want to have to control their own body. If they don't want a child, whether it's from a rape or anything else, no, they're gonna control their own bodies. You can't take away their freedom. And again, Anna said the point in the last segment, but masks, you were bothered about wearing a tiny little mask to protect other people's health, and now you say, I don't care, I'm gonna force you to carry a baby inside of you, even if you were raped, and even if it's the rapist child. I don't care about your freedom, your liberty. You're not a guy. You're not a right-wing Christian man, so they don't care about you at all. Do you ever see any Democrats saying this? Because they'd urinate all over their pants. Oh my God, that would be fighting a Republican. We would be offending Republicans. We're so scared of them. You're all pathetic losers. Okay, so are women's lives in danger once this happens? 100%. There's absolutely no question about that. It's a scientific fact. Okay, let alone that you're taking away their freedom. Now, one more thing. Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly, they're like, this leak is so outrageous. They violated the privacy of the Supreme Court justices. Oh, did they? Well, good news, there is no more right to privacy. That's what this case is about. It takes away right to privacy, which was the undergirding of Roe v. Wade. So I guess the Supreme Court justices don't have any privacy and they can suck it. Are you crying about privacy? Are you serious? And yes, the entire country is taking it seriously. Oh my God, the powerful's privacy has been slightly violated.
Who cares? Who cares? This ain't the story. Listen, I'm bringing this up to specifically say this ain't the story. I don't care. I don't care about the leak. In fact, the leak itself didn't actually break any laws. So while Ben Shapiro, Mr. Harvard-educated lawyer, purports to know everything, facts don't care about your feelings, bro. Didn't break the law, so prosecute what? Prosecute someone who didn't break a law? Okay, great. Yeah. Anyway,
I got it. No, I got to explain why it might be a conservative.
Go ahead.
Because this is really interesting. Okay, and by the way, they also said it's super not fair because they did it without the justice's consent.
Oh wow, okay.
Because they're right-wing Christian men. So they have rights and you don't. They can take away your right to control your body, but how dare you leak their opinion without their consent? Oh, shut up, you hypocrites. Okay, now why might it be a conservative? Guys, this is a head trip. So I thought for sure that it was someone on the left to cause this outrage, so see, there could be a change. But then I read a stunning analysis of it that is really good. That said, look, guys, the minute it's public, normally what happens in a Supreme Court decision is somebody writes the majority opinion, and then they go and try to sell people on it, okay? So this opinion was actually written 2 months ago by Alito in February, or now almost 3 months ago. And so he got 5 justices on board, and then Roberts is not on board, and the 3 liberal justices are not on board. But this is the most extreme version, it's the first draft. And so normally what would happen is Roberts would then try to flip one of the other justices, and they would do haggling, and they would then at a bare minimum edit that opinion and make it much more moderate. But now that it is public, it's locked in, and the votes are locked in. Because if Kavanaugh or Gorsuch or any of them now changed and said, no, I am not voting with this opinion, I'm going to maintain Roe versus Wade, the right wing would be in such a rage. They might literally kill them, okay? So there's no way those 5 conservative justices can now turn around. And the leaker knows that. If the leaker was on the left, they're an idiot. because now those 5 are absolutely positively locked in. It is very possible, if not likely, that it was a conservative who leaked it so that those 5 would get locked in and the most extreme version of that opinion would get locked in, because now they're not going to want to change it. So if it was someone on the left, they made a terrible mistake. If it's someone on the right, well played, okay? Now it's going to be an incredibly egregious, extreme draft that they would have never signed on to if it didn't get leaked. And Roberts says, no, we're going to follow regular process.
They were going to sign on to overturning the abortion ban, like the Roe v. Wade, no matter what. They were gonna do it no matter what, okay? It doesn't freaking matter whether it was leaked, not leaked, doesn't matter. They were gonna overturn it. That is what their plan was all along. The Federalist Society had these goons on their list from the very beginning for a reason. This is what they promised to do from the beginning. The only time they lied about it was during their confirmation hearings, of course. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. We don't even need to pontificate about this. We don't need to speculate about this. They were gonna do it no matter what, that's it. And we're done talking about the leak because the leak is irrelevant at this point. What's relevant is what we're gonna do to counteract the damage that this right-wing theocracy is gonna do to this country and to the women in this country. That's the only thing that matters.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.